It's the first time I'd ever thought America, like this part of America, is actually more like a third world country than anything that I thought we'd ever become. And then you drive through Skid Row and you're like, how could any state or any city let this happen?
Skid Row is now 55 blocks. It was 50 blocks just like a year or two ago.
So we realized that the reason why they gave you these convoluted directions was so that you could avoid Skid Row at night. You get there and it's like this beautiful facility with like fancy food and fancy wine. And then there are armed guards outside of it and these gigantic walls. And I realized when I was there, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of going to the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Like super security, crazy wealth and privilege and status on the inside, and squalor and misery on the outside. Like it's the first time I'd ever thought America, like this part of America, is actually more like a third world country than anything that I thought we'd ever become.
Why is it that large population centers, like places like Los Angeles and New York, are almost always run by the Democrats?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about? First of all, what happened with the last election in Los Angeles, just the primary, I think was
crazy.
So super sus. Not just super sus that Spencer Pratt, who was in second place, got overtaken by Nithya Raman in the mail-in ballots, but that the mail-in ballots also passed a tax hike. The people voted to pay more taxes.
Yep.
In a state where you have the high, they're like, we don't pay enough. That is insane. Then when you have direct evidence that they were recruiting homeless people.
That's right.
And they were getting homeless people and giving them cigarettes and cash. There's evidence of this. To use their address and mail-in ballots.
But it just so happened that the third place person in relative terms did a lot better than the first and second place person.
Disproportionately better.
Such that the Republican was actually kicked out of the race so that there's not actually a real election in California. That to me was the crazy part. It's like you were designing the vote share in order to kick Pratt out and put the third person into second place. That to me is like very, very bizarre. Because what is the theory of the mail-in vote that is somehow like so much more pro-Nithya relative to Karen Bass?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.